Welcome back to Whiskey, Words, and Wisdom. We have a very special guest today I will get to in just a second, but it is myself and Don, and we're missing our dear Jenna. We miss you, girl.
Shout out to Jenna.
Shout out. You know, he's in your spot. If you didn't notice, Jenna, he's sitting in your spot today. And that's because we have our very special guest, Stephan Labossiere, rather known as Stephan Speaks. Yeah. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right, man.
Hey.
Yes, sir. So I just did a co-collab with a friend of mine, Jamie. Shout out to Jamie on her podcast. And then I asked Stephan, would he be willing to come on Whiskey, Words, and Wisdom? And he said yes. And I wanted to get him in a different environment where it's just a chill talk. We converse, and I learned a little bit more about you and what people don't know. And then also just get some questions for us men. I know a lot of your focus and a lot of your clients have been women, but shit, I think nowadays, man, we need the fucking help. Let's keep it a buck. I'm going through it. I was even seeing my therapist today, and there was some shit, and I was just like, I don't know how to fix this shit. I was like, but hey, I got to see Stephan later. I'm gonna get some advice. I need to figure some shit out. But I know Don has had his thoughts on it. I mean, we really were at the He-Man Woman Haters Club for a minute. Just tired of being tired. But yeah, thank you for coming, man.
No problem.
How's your day been? You been good? How was your weekend? How was LA?
I mean, since we've been in LA since like last Thursday, so it's been almost a week. Just been doing different shows, different podcasts, and just getting a vibe of California and LA all together. It's a cool place. I don't know if I could live out here, but
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It has some good pros to it, so it's like it's been straight, but it's been a good day and a good trip overall.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but his beard is a little bit better than mine. You know what I'm saying? I gave him the tips back in 1965. You feel me? That's good, man. I mean, LA is a tricky place. Like I'm originally from Northern California, so and my family's originally from Tyler, Texas. So getting accustomed to LA was a lot as well, because up north we're completely different than LA. You know what I mean?
It's crazy how just in the United States alone, there's so many different worlds.
Facts.
Like, people think they got to go outside the United States to see some stuff. Nah, there's some cities in here. If you just spend some time, you're going to see some different stuff. Like, just explore.
Bro,
so it's interesting to see the different vibes everywhere.
Yeah. There's this place in Burbank I found out that's like a joint you can go, and it's like a sex room or some shit for, like, or not in Koreatown. I was like, what? In L.A.? We got a brothel, like a dead ass brothel. I was like, that shit's legal. Because you think you go to
I'm about to say it may not be legal.
Yeah, I ain't never been there. But the homie was like, where you going? Oh, this place in K-Town. What place? Look, man. I said, I don't need any here no more, bro. I'm good. But so the weekend was solid.
Yeah, everything's been solid. Everything's been good.
What about you, Don?
Yeah, man, it's just really been work and trying to prep for the pod. And
yeah, don't forget, y'all, go watch Best of the 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 Best.
New episode coming soon.
When's the Grammys?
I want to say next week.
Oh, word?
Is it? It's February 5th.
You nervous?
Nah. Honestly, I'm not even thinking about it, bro, to be honest.
Look, even if they had a Grammy party, Don wouldn't pull up. He'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Nah, it was something I was supposed to go to. But I don't, you know me, bro.
How many Grammys you gonna be nominated for next year?
Man, who knows? Slow start to the year now, but who's to say?
Yeah, I feel it. So we were talking a little bit before. You plan on doing more books?
Yeah, absolutely doing more books.
What was your motivation behind it?
The whole thing, just everything.
Like, why? What made you want to say, I need to write a fucking book?
It was God, man. It was nothing but God, because I would have never wrote a book. I literally graduated high school late because I didn't want to turn in papers. That's how much I hated writing.
Yeah.
I had to graduate late for that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So the idea of writing a book, it was like so far beyond anything I could imagine. But I just felt like God was pushing me to do it. Now, I will say I learned my first 2 books I literally typed out and wrote. After that, I was like, yo, that's not my strength. My strength is speaking. So instead, I just set up the microphone, got the audio recorder, just record myself, get it transcribed, and then boom, put the book together. So that's my process now. It makes it a lot easier.
Work smarter.
That's super smart. So for those of you who don't know, he is not only an author, he's a relationship coach. Does a great job with his books. I had one myself, 2. in my Kindle right now. Read them 4 years ago, right off the bat. Gonna read them again because I'm trying to, I'm a firm believer in going back into books and reading and getting new lessons from them at different parts of your life. I'm also looking for a wife. You know what I mean? So like that book for me still resonates as far as like certain values and things that you said to look for. And I'm also struggling with my own internal insecurities and things like that is potentially pushing my partner away, which sucks. Yeah. But it's like I'm self-aware and on, hey bro, you on some shit. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are looking to maybe find some advice or get some guidance, we all find our stuff in different areas, but I'm telling you, go look this man up. Game changer. I don't listen to many motherfuckers. I think a lot of people spew a lot of bullshit. Being a life coach myself, some of the shit I hear out there, I'm like, are you serious? Mm-hmm. But I think what helps out, especially from the ladies' perspective, is you're telling them what they probably already know, but you're just saying, hey, this is what it is from a man's perspective. And a lot of times men aren't going to tell a woman, hey, he's doing this, or this is what it really means, Mm-hmm. And what, for you, when did you discover that women need this more than men? Because it seems like you said your clientele is about 90% women, right?
Well, yeah, and I don't know if I'll say women need it more than men, mm-hmm. but I have always said that the healing of a woman is more powerful than me focusing on healing on men first. Mm. Now, again, it doesn't mean it's, I'm just going to abandon men for women, but look at it like this. I always say you could heal 1,000 men, and those 1,000 men could not heal one woman. But heal one woman and she can heal 1,000 men. Women have a much more influential power to them. And to put it in the context of a relationship, what I've also found is if a guy's been hurt before and then he eventually meets this woman that he believes is like no other woman he's met before, this is the one. Even though he's been hurt, he's more likely to want to push through and be with this woman. Because the idea is like she's special, she's different, I'll put it on the line for her. If a woman's been hurt before and she meets that man that's that amazing, she's like, it's too good to be true. Something's got to be wrong. And she will probably self-sabotage or run away from that situation. And I've seen that happen so many times. So to me, it's like, if I can help the women be healed, it solves a big piece of the puzzle as far as bringing two people together. Because I think it's easier for me to work on the men after that, or again, the impact these other healed women will have on men is almost like doing the work for me. You know what I'm saying? But if I just focused on healing men and women have still gone through trauma, they're not going to trust. You can bring 1,000 good men their way. They won't trust any of them. So that's why I think it's a little bit more impactful to focus on them, but both sides need it.
That's crazy. I never thought about that. I'm a damaged man. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with a situation where maybe this is the first healthy relationship or healthy partner I've had. She doesn't act like, my issue is I complain about everything. And it's not necessarily a complaint. It's legit like I'm not understanding why she moves the way she moves in certain aspects. Mm-hmm. But she's also not hiding shit, and she doesn't complain about shit I do until I complain. Yeah. Because she'll be like, bro, like, she's like, I leave you alone. Like, why are you bugging me? And it's like, in my head, I'm like, why the fuck am I bugging her? Like, what is it inside of me? And it's insecurities, you know what I mean? A lot of it comes from the derivative of my childhood and my dad not being present, but when he was out of jail, he'd go see my brother and my sister, but not me. So it's like a sense of unworthiness. My mom, had an addictive personality, so she would be addicted to jobs, basketball, or drugs, at the time. And it was like, why are you choosing that over me? Where it was like my grandmother raised me and it was all about me, right? And then when she passed away, it was kind of like that void was, not filled. And I'm not looking to have it filled, but and people hate the word inner child, but it's a legit thing. Like my conscious mind understands the dumb shit I'm doing. My subconscious mind sits up here and stirs up all this anxiety. In the aspect of that, like what would you suggest for a man like myself who's aware that I'm possibly pushing my partner away due to my own insecurities? How do I alleviate that? And like, because I think I become OCD about the issue. Mm-hmm. I become impacted by it so much that it just stays in my head, and like I'm not understanding why you don't see it the way I see it. Mm-hmm. So let me give you example. She knows I talk about it. She's probably gonna watch and be like, it's fine. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a fuck. So something as little as it was her birthday yesterday. And I never post like my significant others on my page like that. So I decided to do the little, the little Instagram thing, the cute, and I posted it and also had a caption that was expressing my feelings for everybody to fucking see.
Yeah.
So I did it, and when she finally got to her phone and tagged it or reposted it, she only did a few of them, and I was like, And the one that had most of the words, she didn't post. So I was like, hold on, wait, what the fuck? But then she hit me, was like, well, it doesn't have the ad tag on there. So I was like, okay, well, it's probably too many words. And I was like, but you could have screenshot it and posted it. So my insecurities are starting to act up. And then I go to our podcast page because she always reposts the podcast and supports. And I was going to do a appreciation post, and I go, and all of a sudden her page is private. And I'm like, why is your page private the day I start now posting? So all these things are happening, and I'm starting to make it into a big issue when her thought process is, one, I don't want females following my man.
And I'm sure she went private because people are now coming to her page,
yes,
checking her out.
And I'm like, but you got I was like, you have 8,100 followers, and you only follow like, who cares? She's like, well, it's my birthday, I want my peace. But I was making it about me and my feelings instead of hers, and acknowledging that, and it frustrates me because the logical side of me says, bro, you're bugging, but this part is like, yo, no, something's up. The world's about to, she's doing something, even though she's doing nothing, but something's up. And it's like, I went to my therapist and say, she was like, do you think there's cheating? I was like, hell no. Easy to say no, hell no. But so what's the issue? And now it's like we're constantly arguing. We have the distance, as I told you before, in between us now. Not going to see her for 6-7 months, which is fucking tough. But it's like, I'm like, is it that? Is it just not being near her? Or is this just an issue within? And can, as a man, that's not, I thought I was healed because, like I said, I heal people, but I also have done the work. But these insecurities I didn't know still existed until now. So would you say that it's possible to get through these and work through a relationship and heal while in a relationship? Because how was I supposed to know that this existed if I wasn't in the relationship?
So it is possible to heal while in a relationship. It's just tough.
Okay.
Because let's just say tomorrow you start the process of diving in deeper within yourself and trying to heal that inner child you mentioned earlier, right? And let's say next week she does something that may not be blatant. It's like this same example. It's not that she did something clearly wrong, but you are triggered for whatever reason and you view it as a problem. So now it sets you back in your healing process. It's like you take 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. That's the problem with trying to heal while in a relationship, is because we're still available to be triggered by this person or by situations. So yes, on one end you can say, well, I wouldn't have discovered I had this issue still if I wasn't in this relationship. But at the same time, it's tricky. So I think what you have to do is you do have to dive deeper into trying to understand, okay, why do I feel so insecure about this? What am I afraid of? Is it because, yes, we don't get to see each other and I'm afraid the distance is too much? Is it something within myself that I'm not confident about? Is it, have you ever been cheated on before? And maybe there's still something lingering with that. You know what I'm saying? We have to figure it out, but also let her know what you're going through as far as the process and the triggers that you're going through, so she understands where it's coming from.
And she's been extremely understanding when it comes to it, because my last relationship I was with, our favorite term, narcissist, but it actually I think she had BPD, bipolar. Not bipolar. Borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
Because more or less than none, women have more borderline than they are. We found that out. We had somebody on here who was specialized in that, and it was like I lost who I was. Like I was, they say that men can't be abused. I was physically and verbally abused in that relationship. You know what I mean? On the same time, gaslit. She would be drinking at her house with 2 guys who were her friends, but one used to rock with her, and his whole girlfriend didn't know that he hung out with her. So it made me feel like what's being hidden. So, and then on top of that, like I said, my father would always see my brother and my sister. So I think it's a sense of unworthiness of like, oh, I always have the feeling that they're going to leave and for something better. Even though I know in my head, I'm like, I'm a single father who takes care of his kid, 2 master's degrees, great job. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm very compassionate, empathetic. Like I have those tools. I'm handsome. You know what I'm saying? I'm handsome. You know what I'm saying? I know that about myself, but at the same time, this part of me is still like.
Well, I feel like you know what the issue is. You're just not properly addressing it. Because you're mentioning all the stuff. You mentioned your father. You mentioned the sense of not feeling worthy. This is what the issue is. And it sounds like you haven't fully resolved that and come to peace about that. You still internalized it to where it's not pouring over into your current relationship. So I think now you have to take time, whether that be with your therapist or hell, like when you read the Love After Heartbreak book, did you do all the steps in there? Exactly.
That's why I said I'm going to read it again. That's why I was like, no, that's why I literally said, this is God. When she hit me up, I was like, oh, this is God. This is God. Because God's probably like, remember that book you got that helped?
Yeah.
And then you got better, so you didn't finish it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't do it. Go back and read that. You know what I mean?
So I would highly suggest do all the steps because you still got some stuff you got to flush out of your system.
I know most of those letters are going to be to my mom. Is definitely to my mom.
There you go.
So, but see, you know, my man Don.
Oh man, here we go.
Don got some stuff going on too.
Listen, man.
I be chilling.
Listen, bro.
I be chilling.
One does not like confrontation.
Okay.
2, Don does not like when energy changes. That sets, like, Don is even all the time. As soon as somebody changes their energy, it's a whole different Don. It's like, and I think with Don, what I've noticed is he doesn't understand the way most women's minds think, because he's very chill, whatever, but it's like, I mean, what would you feel like you feel they do that pisses you off that you're like, I hate this shit?
Breathe. I'm just playing.
That's facts.
Nah, it's just, I don't know, man. Just things they do that just annoy me. It's just like, I guess things outside of what I would normally do or how we move, like that probably would annoy me. And I'm just such a distinctive person. Like I'm very uniform in things. So if anything changes, it just throws me off. So I'm just like, okay, what's going on? You know what I mean? So yeah.
Don, I feel like wants love but doesn't want love.
I mean, I think everyone wants love, but
He said to me, if this is what I gotta get, is it even worth it?
Nah, I'm just at a point in my life where I'm just trying to get through my purpose, man. I'm just trying to get on that road. So everything else is kind of just secondary to me. That's just where I'm at.
You feel like you're like emotionally closed off though?
A little bit.
Yeah. A little bit. For sure.
Because Don will tell you from the jump how he is. And then when somebody comes in and tries to not understand the same shit I've told you from the jump, that's what him's like, yo, it's not like I didn't tell you this. Mm-hmm. And then now you're acting different. And it's just like, I think he is more of, he finds comfort and peace, which most of us do. He's actually one that changed my whole perspective last year. One of his friends told him he no longer chases happiness. What does he chase?
Chase peace.
Chase peace, because happiness is always dependent on something.
Yeah.
Peace is just a state of mind. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens, I'm good. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know,
I think peace is just a state of mind of acceptance.
Yeah.
It's just accepting things for what they are. Like, I think we're not at peace because we're always fighting. We're fighting, well, we don't want to be in this current situation, or we want this, or this should be that way, and all this type of stuff. But once we kind of just accept, we are where we need to be. It is what it is. God got us. We're fine. Now you can have some peace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I even had that revelation earlier because I think sometimes we're even fighting certain aspects about ourselves, and that keeps us not at peace. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And I had to just kind of accept, like, nah, I am who I am. I'm wired this way for a reason. God knew what he was doing. Just roll with it, you know? And that made a huge difference, just thinking about it in that way.
Yeah. I mean, what do you feel like you would like your partners or partner, whoever decide to be with, to improve? Like, because we talk every day, even when we're not here. That's why I was like, okay, he's perfect for this with me. I feel like even through your frustration, you don't put your foot down enough. I think sometimes you prefer to peace and not have the arguing, that you'll just be like, man, whatever.
I think I do put my foot down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not one to repeat myself. I say what I say and I move on. I don't harbor back. I like me putting my foot down is just like law. If I say it one time, then that's just what it is. So me have to always got to go back and reiterate stuff. That's just me in general. And I think a lot of people, like a lot of chicks, don't like that because I don't like to like keep talk about the same thing and reiterate.
But you know why they don't like that? They don't like it because you come off nonchalant as hell.
Absolutely.
And so to them, it's like, does this nigga even care? Like, how does he feel? What is going on? So you not giving them any reaction, it frustrates the shit out of them. They're like, damn, I just want to know what you're feeling and where your head is at. So I think you gotta try to create a better balance of being expressive so they understand how you feeling. But yeah, you don't have to get into these back and forths and repeating yourself a bunch of times. But I think if you use other moments of the relationship to establish them knowing you do care and you are invested, it would help ease those things a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Question. So if you're giving a woman everything she needs, right? And you're showing that like, hey, I'm locked in this with you, but you're particularly not ready to give that a title.
Okay.
And she has a problem with that, even though you told her from the jump, like, hey, it takes me a little bit longer to get into that space. But just because I'm not giving you a title doesn't mean I'm not like solely to you. Mm-hmm. How are you supposed to react when they all of a sudden flip up on you and are like, well, I need this title and this and that. And, you know.
So here's the thing we got to understand as men. All right. Number one, women need security. That's what they crave. Without that title, it feels very insecure. They don't know where they stand. They don't know where this is going. Even though you're showing them all this good stuff, it's not easy to hold on to that. Which brings me to number two. It's not easy to hold on to that because you ain't the first dude that said, just give me some time, right? Only for that dude to never give them the title and make them their girl. So they are a little traumatized. And if they haven't gone through it, they've heard a million other stories from their friends of dudes who did it to them. So if I'm being real, like I have sympathy for women when it comes to that. Because I get it. Like it's hard to remain in this position where this man won't define what we have and be intentional. Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, he's doing the right actions, but without that piece, it's like you're not guaranteed nothing. Not guaranteed even if he tells you you're going to be his girl, but it just feels a little bit safer when he can at least confirm that. So I think you know as men we got to be mindful of, all right, if this is too much for her, all right, cool. Because if you're not like, I don't want the dudes to rush themselves if they're not ready, but I don't think we should expect the women to just happily go along with this the whole time we can't give them an official intent or official label of the situation.
It's crazy.
Why you looking at me?
So, Stephan, when would you say what was it for you? What broke you down? Broke your heart? We all have one. We all got it.
Well, you know, I mean, I've been so the first ever heartbreak, and it sent me to, if I'm being honest, it sent me into a fuck it mode. Like fuck the world, fuck everybody. I don't care. I'm gonna do what I want. And I really went savage mode. Like I did not care about anyone's feelings at that point. And so it was a girl when I was in high school going into college. We were like best friends, and people always felt like there was something going on there, but she would always be like, oh, but you're my friend. I don't see you like that, blah, 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 blah. But there would be moments where it'd be like, wait a minute, is this really just friendship? Anyways, eventually, I remember one week she tells me how there's this crazy man down the street that tried to talk to her and boom, boom, boom. And I'm thinking nothing of it. Okay, cool. A week later, she's in a relationship with this dude. Now, that wasn't even the straw that broke the camel's back. I think what really killed it was after that, I think, how long? Okay, was it then? It was either at that point or when she got married. I can't remember. But she eventually married that same dude, okay? So that hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I went into effort mode. Now, fast forward years later, she admitted she was just scared. that she was attracted to me. She did have feelings, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, well, we're past that now.
Is this before or after the money?
This is before the money. Honestly.
You guys gonna ask that?
Yeah, no, this is before I even became Stephan Speaks. She had acknowledged that. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
But yeah, that was definitely the situation that it didn't kick me off into this, but it was the first impactful heartbreak, so to speak. And it definitely kind of shaped the way I went about life after that.
What about you, Don?
My first heartbreak?
The one that started you on.
Oh man, my first love, man, my first real girlfriend. That was like, yeah, I was in a dark place after that. We talked about that, but yeah, that one stung for a while. Yeah.
I could say for me, it was probably my ex, and just because when you're dealing with somebody who's got narcissistic personality or a borderline, they have you in this maze where you think that they're just everything, right? But I think once I got out of that and realized, okay, that wasn't the relationship for me, what still to this day kills me is the relationship I had with her daughters. Like that was like, but I would say the one that got me into like life coach and all that was Erica. So the girl I moved back here for, I've never done this where I was like, dated, was no official, nothing for a year. Moved out here, said, fuck it. If it's the distance that's killing it, I'm moving back out there because I can move with what I do. I don't need to be in a particular area. Came back out here. She finally gave me the title on my birthday. I said, yes. Fuck. Knew it paid off. Shit. She goes to Bali the next week, comes back 11 days later, breaks up with me.
Man.
I said, wait, what? I was like, we didn't even talk while you were just sending me. What? But it's what I always knew. I always knew that there was still something lingering from her and her ex.
Okay, yeah.
He still impacted her in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like, I knew this, but I decided to think that she'll see through that and she'll be, you know what I mean? But that broke me to a point I was like, man, I don't give a fuck. Like, I was just like, I don't care. Like, what is it in me that makes me find people like this? So when I have somebody now, it's funny you say about nonchalant, right? Because my girl, and she loves Don, is the female version of him. She is so nonchalant. And I'm like, bro, why don't you give a fuck? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, am I the female in this relationship? Like, Jesus, because I'm like, yo, show me something.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very emotional dude, and I'm very in tune with all of that. And she is too, but she's just like, bro, why don't you just be in the relationship? Be in this. Why do we got to talk? Let's have fun. And I'm like, yeah, but the way the equator works, you know, all this dumb shit, man. One of the things I didn't get to talk about on Jamie's that I wanted to talk about on here, because it's a different platform, it's more free flowing, is you always mention God and your faith. Yeah, I love that, man. Have you always been in the church and things like that, or did something pull you closer?
Yeah, and hell no, I ain't always been in the church. There was once upon a time where you came to me with a Bible, I was like, get out my face with that nonsense. Yeah, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't fully believe in a lot of things biblically and all that. For me, if I'm being honest, I started to go through all kinds of crazy spiritual occurrences. I started having these wild dreams every single night. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with me? And I literally went to a therapist trying to figure out, because I'm like, I'm going crazy. And she was like, well, maybe you just stressed out. And I'm like, nah, I've been stressed out before. This ain't stress. Like, I feel there's something spiritual going on. I don't know how to explain this. And so just that, it's a long story, but that whole process started to basically push me towards God. Like, to me, I didn't choose to go. I got pushed. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this. So it was crazy because I was like, all right, you know, even though I believed in God, I didn't still necessarily believe in Jesus, right? And there was some stuff that went on, and a friend of mine who was very spiritual was like, well, you need to accept Jesus if you want to kind of get to the next level in your progression. And I'm like, well, I'm not a phony dude. I'm not just going to say I believe in Jesus just to say I believe in Jesus. So I went home and I prayed, and I was like, all right, God, you tell me if I should believe in Jesus. Like, I believe in you. I just don't know about this other stuff. Literally, after I do that prayer, I go watch TV like 30 minutes later. I turn it on South Park. Why it's an episode with Jesus Christ in South Park. So, and I'm like, nah, this can't be real, right? I'm tripping. This is a coincidence. You know, mind you, I watch a lot of South Park. I've never seen that same episode again,
Right.
which is crazy.
Right.
And I watch a lot of South Park.
That's wild.
Then I said, okay, I went back into prayer. I said, God, you need to show me, like, I need confirmation because this is a little too weird. So I called my homegirl. Her name is Stephanie. All right. And she was like the male version of me. And I call her and I'm like, yo, you won't believe what's going on. And she said, no, you won't believe what's going on with me. How about this person told me I need to accept Jesus? And I said, wait, what? Wow. So at the same time, she even know my situation.
That's wild.
I'm just like, okay, damn, I guess there's something to this. And then there was more stuff that happened after that. But it really was just like a lot of unexplainable spiritual stuff that happened. Like to me, I always say, I think I heard a pastor say it once. You can take words away from a man, but you can't take experience. Once you experience something, that's way more impactful than just someone telling you it should be this, it should be that. And so for me, I've experienced way too much to deny God at this point in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I've had my spiritual journey, man. Raised Baptist. I'm actually starting to read the Quran, not because I'm, converting. I'm interested, right?
Yeah.
But it's one thing I tell people about. I say, man, believe in something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's for me, it's God's Jesus. That's what I believe in, and it's just because I've witnessed things. When my grandma died, I was in the living room on the phone with my brother, my play brother. I was talking to him. I was like, bro, I'm just going through it. I'm depressed. Whoop, whoop. I just wish she was here. And I turn around and there's literally a figure standing in front of me. I immediately drop the phone, go cold. My mom runs in at the time, warms me up and says, dear, that's what we call my grandma. He's not ready. He's not ready to see you yet. And all of a sudden I get warm and I stop shaking. And I was like, am I losing my fucking mind? like what? And I started realizing, okay, and there were certain things that have just always happened to me that I'm like, there's something bigger than me. And that's how I know, regardless, whatever you believe in, there's something greater.
Yeah.
So part of the reason I bring this up is because prayer. Everybody talks about prayer, and you said you prayed. The thing I'm learning is you have to be direct.
Yes.
So I asked a question with my girl. I prayed, and I was like, hey, God, if this isn't for me, show me. But I didn't say what. I said this. Next day, that's when her flight got canceled. She wasn't able to come back. And I was like, oh, he's saying she's not the one. Instead of thinking, because I went and talked to one of my guys I talked to about prayer, and he was like, well, maybe it meant that she wasn't supposed to come back right now while you're on this journey of things that you've been doing, because I'm at the next precipice of my life. And I was starting to move more focus in helping her because she was, here and trying to figure out things. I was like, hey, like, my focus became more her instead of on my purpose.
Yeah.
And now with her being there, she can focus on her, get her stuff ready. So when she does come back, we're aligned. Whereas me, I can focus on getting to, like, he knows this year is supposed to be major for me.
Yeah.
But I was starting to get sidetracked. Not because of her, just because I wanted her to feel secure. She's from a different country. I wanted her to feel like she has her own, and I wanted to set her up because she doesn't know anybody. So I was like, okay, I got to make these moves for her, and then I'll worry about that. But now it's like, okay, what am I going to do with now all this time where I'm missing her, where I can turn it into the things that are going to get me to the next level? So he reminded me, he said, always pray and be direct.
Yes.
And he had told me a story one time of how he prayed. He said, God, if I'm supposed to find my wife in here, have her wear this, 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 and this. And then he saw the exact person. He was like, nah, God. And then he prayed again in church and he said, God, if this is for me, have her spill her drink spill the communion, the juice, the blood of Christ on her skirt. And she did. He's been married to her for 30 years.
Wow.
And he was like, bro, I kid you not. Cause he was like, nah, there ain't no way. And he was like, let me do something crazy and just say direct God, cause his faith is so strong. And she literally spilled it on her dress. And it was.
Now, the only thing is, I always say you got to be careful with praying in a way like that, because to me, you're asking God to intervene with people's free will in a sense. So it's like to make her spill her drink. I mean, granted, that's not as much intervening with free will as it's just creating a situation. But, I always say, like, you be careful of asking for signs, because the devil can throw up billboards too. So to me, the more effective approach, now it may have worked out for him, and I think it can work out for people. God gives us grace. But I think the more effective approach is asking God, what do I need to do to find this wife? Or when it is this woman, what do you want me to do next? You know what I'm saying? Yes, you have to be specific, but the prayer should be more about what steps do I need to take to figure this out or to achieve this or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And just flat out asking, is this person for me? Like, is this the one? So even if you pray that way, they spill the drink. Okay, God, is that the one you want me to be with? You know what I'm saying? Get that confirmation in your spirit, because I've seen people pray and misinterpret a lot of things. One time a woman prayed, she said, God, if this man's not for me, show me a sign. She goes to sleep. When she wakes up, the first thing she sees is the man leaving her room. Like, actually physically walking out of her room.
Now,
here's the thing. Some people hear that and would say, oh, that's God telling you to leave him. Yeah. Let him go, because he walked out the room. She took it as, because I saw him when I woke up, that means be with him. Do you see what can happen with a sign? A sign is interpretable, and it will not always be interpreted correctly. So we got to be careful with things like that.
Bruh. Women, why do y'all think the way y'all think? Like,
because most people are asking for signs, hoping to validate what they already want to believe.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's a bar.
Facts.
That's a bar right there. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, I mean, I think faith is huge. Speaking of that, have you ever seen the Twitter thread of what everybody in the Bible would do in today's time on social media?
No, I haven't seen that.
Bruh. I'm going to have to I'll send it to Stephan. Yo, it's literally the funniest thing on Twitter. That, and also the people living in Gotham. There's those. I promise you, if you read, either of those. Yeah. So it was talking about, they would talk about different characters in the Bible, how they would be on social media, like how they would be in just today's times of selling stuff and all that. It is the funniest thing. But I thought about that. So, what is it that you're looking for? Like, you know what I'm saying, for the ladies listening, hey y'all, he is single. He's single. Are people sliding in the DMs? Are you looking for people to slide in the DMs? Are you trying to find somebody in church?
I mean, I ain't against people sliding in the DMs. They do at times, but women are horrible at throwing hints and flirting. You know what I'm saying? So they think just by saying, "Oh, your work is wonderful," that they flirted. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might just be complimenting my work. I can't assume that means you want to talk to me. But I'm open to it. But as far as what I'm looking for, like we talked about it on the other show, it's about a woman who knows how to be feminine, positive, takes care of herself, you know what I'm saying, believes in God. To me, those are the main important things, and believes in a healthy lifestyle. Yeah. That's really important to me, you know what I'm saying? But, it's not easy dating in today's world, especially when you're in my position.
Yeah.
So I just have to be careful and try to navigate as best as possible. The worst thing, though, about when they slide in your DMs, they'll slide in my DMs and have their page on private. And to me, that is the most annoying.
Because then they're trying to get you to follow.
So if I'm going to follow you, then what if I don't like what I see? Yeah. Then I'm going to have to unfollow you. Now you feel salty. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. So if you slide in my DMs with a private profile, I'm not talking to you. Or I'm not entertaining it. It gets even worse. I've had some slide in my DMs, private profile, and not even a real picture in their profile picture. So it's like an avatar of some sort. Yeah, nah. And a couple women have literally gotten mad at me because I didn't want to take them up on their offer to have coffee or some stuff like that. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't even know who you are. I can't see your face, nothing. And it's crazy. That's the one thing I do know what it is. A lot of women, there are some women who, this is going to sound crazy, but they have said this to me. They don't want a man to be attracted to them because of their looks. Which is crazy because, like, that's what normally is going to happen. We have to be attracted to you to want to talk to you. But I had one woman tell me she would turn down any man who approached her, like when she was out and about, because she knew that he was coming to her because of how she looked. But I'm like, yo, how else are you supposed to meet a guy?
Bro, I done seen a bunch of women like say that on Instagram and stuff like that. Like, why are you approaching me? Don't approach me here. Don't approach me there. And I'm just like,
what some don't listen. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to you, women. Even though most men may look at you and think you're bad and sexy, there's a lot of men that are gonna look at you and be like, nah, that ain't my type. It is. We are different creatures. What he finds attractive, I'm gonna be like, nah, she all right.
Yeah.
We've literally had conversations where I'm like, yo, he's like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think we all universally believe about Jill Scott. She can, hey, Jill.
Jilly from Philly.
Jilly from Philly. Yeah, I mean, it's just something about her energy. You know, Jill's energy is a little bit different. But I'm just saying, and even my girl's like, now what if Jill Scott came? I said, listen, baby, you like women too. What you mean? You know, SZA's the same thing. She said I already told her she could have her whole pass with SZA. So, you know, SZA, holla at my girl in her DMs. But I think it's this perception that has been, because they're told they're beautiful so much. Yeah. Oh, you're bad. You're this and that. But I don't even know how you look without your filters. What is that? When I wake up next to, am I going to see you or, because makeup, bruh.
Yeah, makeup's a game changer.
Bruh.
You know, and that's another. The crazy thing dangerous. Is, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, some of these women look 10 times better without the makeup. It's like they're actually doing themselves, they're not doing themselves any favors with it. I understand some of them just like it. They want to wear it. That's their business. But man, it's crazy. Yeah. And so now because of that, you really don't know what you're getting if you start by meeting someone off of like Instagram. Mm-hmm. Because I've seen some women look 10 times better in person. I've seen some look 10 times worse in person. Yeah. You really have no clue. You got some women, they can look like they 5'10" online and they actually 5'2" in real life. And vice versa. So it's this crazy thing where you don't know what you're really getting, you know? But that's the world we live in now.
Yeah, facts. I mean, it is facts. Like I always bring her up because it's my girl, but she doesn't wear makeup, but she always has filters on it, and I'm like, why do you have filters on your picture? Well, maybe it's because, and she broke it down to me that maybe I'm having a bad skin day, and I'm like, I got to remember, women, even if she's the toughest of women, they still care. Yeah, and it's like she's like, I don't post on my Instagram for men, I post for the women. That's what she was like, bro. I like bad bitches. Bad bitches like me. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it's like she doesn't wear makeup in person, but she's naturally just beautiful. So I'm like, why do you feel like you need to? And she's like, I just like the filter.
And I think also consider some women don't wear makeup because it's too much work to them. Yeah. The filter is like that. You know what I'm saying? So to put on a filter on a picture is easy. Why not for some people? But to do makeup, that could take an hours. So I think that might be why, there's a difference between real life and on the internet when it comes to her. Yeah.
And I think I appreciate it because I'm like, I know what you look like regardless. Like, yeah. I don't need to, there ain't no makeup. We hug you. It ain't coming off on my Hey, women, that's one thing I'm going to tell y'all. Please, please, please get the makeup that doesn't come off on our shirts, bro.
Does that even exist?
Yes.
That it doesn't come off
literally makeup that does not come off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's news to me.
No, bro, literally. Please. These shirts ain't cheap. Yeah, so I just feel like if you're going to holler at Stephan in his DMs, please have a picture available. What is the wildest pickup line you've heard from a woman?
I don't know if there's a wildest, but I will say I've had several women, a lot of women, claim that, God said I'm their husband. So,
I ain't met you yet.
I don't know.
But God told me, listen, I don't know anything about you, but God has said it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get any stronger than that. Like that's how do you top that line? Right. You know what I'm saying?
And then with your story, I know in the back of your head, you're gonna be like, did he?
Well, yeah. So here's the thing, like, I tried. I don't ever want to tell someone you ain't hear that from God. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's between you and God. I may ask, how did you come to that conclusion? Because sometimes it isn't, I prayed and I felt in my spirit. Yeah. It's, again, signs. Well, this happened and this happened, so I knew it must mean that you're the guy God wants me to be with, type of stuff. And then I'll be like, no, that's not how we do it. You need to ask God and listen to prayer. But there's been times where even though I knew there's no way in hell this could be for me, I'm just going to honor the process of praying and asking just to confirm this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So I will do that because I don't want to dismiss the idea of hearing from God that someone is for you. I think that can happen, but I do think a lot of people, they come to a conclusion based off of things they interpreted rather than really God saying this is what it is.
Question I have for both of you guys, since I had you both here, your levels of success. Like, I've always worked, like, obviously behind the scenes. I've managed big artists and things like that. You're how old now?
44.
Ladies, black doesn't crack. Don's 35 now. Both of you guys have reached success, right? What centers you and what keeps you from your head being too big? Like, because I can tell you're composing, you just feel like I'm a regular dude. You know what I mean? And you've got songs after song after song on the radio. You've done so much shit, but it's like you wouldn't be able to tell. You never. When I first said congratulations about his Grammy nomination, like, oh, thanks.
Because I still feel like I haven't done enough.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that big time. You know, I think it's a combination of still feeling like there's so much more to do. I'm very like, I make $1 million tomorrow, or I need to make $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when I make $2 million, I need to make $5 million. It's always on to like, I literally feel like I am like Goku and Vegeta, you know, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like, it don't matter who they beat, they gotta find the next biggest warrior. You know what I'm saying? And that's how my mind works. But on top of that, to me, it also comes from feeling like I didn't do this myself. This is all through God. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I stay humble through God. And I remember when I first started on this path, I prayed and I was like, I promise God, I will never let this get to my head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're doing it for a purpose, then to me it's easier to stay humble and keep things in perspective. When you're doing it for fame and money and all these things, that's where ego comes in and you can get lost and caught up in all the nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you've been on this journey like successfully, what you would determine as if you've reached a certain level of success for about how many years?
So I want to say I broke through successfully at the very end of 2013. So we'll like the last month. So we'll just say from 2014 on. So I would say my success has been for 9 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, he's 44. Subtract 8 from that. That's 36. It ain't never too late.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, for y'all in there and say, oh, I got to go do this. Man, listen, when your passion calls you, it's going to constantly call you. It's never going to leave you alone. You got to go do that shit. It's like you got to scratch it. If not, you're going to be miserable and wondering what if and telling high school stories about back in my heyday. We don't need to do that, bro. Go live your life. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a black man that has found ways to succeed, and that's just tough in America. Another question I had was, you're there for so many people. Who's there for you?
I got my manager. I got my
shout out to
there.
Shout out to Stephan, number 2.
Yeah, I got a coach that I talk to.
Okay.
I have good friends, good family, but I won't lie though. Like, I don't even put that burden on them, so to speak.
But why is it necessarily a burden?
Well, because I guess for me, I just feel like there's nothing I can't handle on my own. I've always been like a loner, and to me, it's always like me and God can handle this.
Okay, so you're not alone. You're never alone.
So exactly. I'm never alone because I can always go to God. That's my greatest support system. You know what I'm saying?
That's solid.
And so to me, I just view it as like I don't need to put that on anybody else. Mm-hmm. Do I have my moments of needing to vent or frustration or whatever the case? Yeah, but I think ultimately I'm good. And I also say that I don't really have those many moments because I just don't process things the way that. So I think one of the things that I vibe with you on is being that even keel. I think what happens is, when you go through enough, like initially when we start in our business, there's a lot of ups and downs. And if you keep getting caught up in the ups and downs, it's draining.
Yeah.
And so you kind of just learn to just be neutral. The bad part is when we win, we just like, okay, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We don't celebrate it. Yeah. But when we lose, we're just like, oh, all right, we're going to keep it going. So it's like and the crazy thing is my coach said, she said all her clients who are millionaires are all the same way. They all reach this point of where they're just kind of neutral with their achievements and they just learn. I think, again, when you're grinding for so long, You just learn not to keep riding the wave and just to create your own steady wave all the way through.
Absolutely.
You know?
But I think what also was impressive is that you stuck with your purpose, and that's where, and it wasn't about, because I don't think you would say it was about the money.
Nah, it definitely wasn't about the money.
That's one of the things I've realized, and why I feel like I'm at the pinnacle, because a lot of times it used to be a money move. It'd be something I've, like I said, 2 master's degrees, one's in marketing. So I'd always think about, I know how to turn water to wine pretty much.
Yeah.
And now what I'm moving into, it's like, no, this is a passion of mine. Like, so I have a mushroom tea, a psilocybin tea business. Just because for me and my anxiety and depression, it became sort of a medicine, and what the doctors had prescribed was the after effects were insane. So moving into that space, but that's also, since it's mental health, able to align with being a life coach for men, having this, you know what I mean? Being able to impact people's lives, and it's something I have to do daily. Like, I have to have a conversation with somebody, and it's like, I always ask, you know, what's up? Tell me what's up. And people say, you know, I'm an empath, if you believe in that type of thing. So I very much so am. I can walk in a room and feel the energy immediately, which I think Don hasn't discovered, because for some reason I don't talk to many people about my shit. For him, everything. You know what I mean? It's not just about comfort. It's just like I immediately feel like I need to talk to Don when I'm going through my shit. But it wasn't until I realized, like, I can't, this is always on my mind. And then I started moving in that direction, and everything started, and it'd be a little step back, but it'd be like, and it's just moving because I'm moving in my purpose and what I feel and what I cannot get rid of.
Exactly.
And seeing you do that and seeing you get to levels, and it's a testament to listening to that inside voice as well.
Absolutely.
And I tell him all the time, like, bro, this is one of the most, I hate Don sometimes because he can do everything. He literally, like, bro made a noir for this, and I was just like, how do you do that? You know, when we first talked about this, I was just asking him to do the audio. He was like, well, I do video too. I said, no, what? You know what I mean? I'm like, not only you're a Grammy producer, he's also an artist. You know, his own music's crazy. And it's like, you do all this, and then he eventually wants to write scripts for movies and film. And I'm like,
I already been doing it.
See what I'm saying? And then on top of that, he has his own clothing. Like I'm like, bro, what don't you do? But it's like, it to see him like be so obsessed with his passion, I know he's gonna make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for those of you who are listening and they're a little stuck, but they have a calling, what would you suggest to them? Like,
well, I think, you know, first is ignore the outside noise. Because you're going to have a lot of people telling you, oh, this is a waste of time, or, you know, get a regular job and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And they can't see the path that you're on and understand the purpose of it. So you got to really lock into what you know you're hearing from within or what you're hearing from God, and just lean on that. You know what I'm saying? I think also every man, every person has to understand it doesn't happen overnight. Like, you see us once we're successful, but you didn't see us when we was grinding, when there was breakdowns, tears. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell are we doing? Wanting to quit. But we had to keep pushing through. And the reality is, like I always tell people, some people, I was just speaking to someone the other night, and they're talking about starting like a skincare business. They're like, well, it's so oversaturated. And I said, listen, it is oversaturated. But in business, what happens is 1 million people can start a skincare business today. By next year, that number is down to 500,000. The following year is down to 200,000. As you continue, people keep falling off. The one who wins is the one who sticks with it. Now, granted, it needs to actually be your calling. You actually have a talent there. You know what I'm saying? But if it is, trust and believe you'll be fine. And I always say, like, when you're walking in purpose, there is no competition. Your lane is yours. Their lane is theirs. So don't worry about any of that stuff. God's going to create the whole space for you to operate in, because this is what he wants you to do. So I think it's just really staying strong, keep pushing forward, understand it takes time, but keep praying, keep talking to God, because you're going to need that. Because again, trust me, there was several times I wanted to quit. Hell, even after I became successful, I was like, man, I'm done.
It's still days I'll be like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Exactly.
It just be like, this is too much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Man, I mean, I think we've all been there, and it is, man. I mean, for the levels I've reached, like even when the year I made the most money, I was like, this is nice. You know, coming from the hood, I'm like, You know, and then I started realizing, oh, I'm in a different text. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a different text bracket. But then I was just like, this shit ain't, I'm not happy.
Yeah, what does it mean? Bro, I was just talking to my homie about that earlier, man. I'm like, we getting all the things we asked for, but I'm like, bro, I finally got a song on the radio. And I'm thankful, but it's like, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? Like this ain't enough. Like and I always go back to that scene of Soul when she was talking about the fish in the water. I love that, man. Like that's like the perfect explanation, bro. It's just like, what's next? It got to be something more. You know what I mean?
What's next for you?
Well, I think, the reality when people wonder what's next. Well, I think, okay, for some of us, next is, again, continuing our purpose and just continuing to expand and grow. And maybe there's other angles of it that we need to start exploring. But I do think that when I hear people question what's next, for a lot of individuals, it's love. That's next. That's what people are craving for. Like, the success is great.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you ain't got someone to share it with,
Bro, it's
just not the same. You know what I'm saying?
I literally said that I said, listen, I've reached levels that I'm good. Like, I'm always going to be good. You know what I mean? I was making 6 figures at 21 years old. I figured it out. I said, but I don't. She'd be like, oh, I don't want you to spend money. I'm like, bro, I'm going to be in the house smoking hookah. I ain't doing shit. Like I said, I don't like people. Like I used to love people, but now I'm like, look, I got to take y'all in moderation, bro. And plus the drive, like even my drive here is 40 miles. I'm like, listen, after this, I'm going to the house, gonna finish watching Jung E on Netflix, and I'm gonna chill, spark my hookah, chill with my dog, and that's just because I need that person. Like I don't need it. I want that person.
Yeah, that's the key. Is you want it. You know what I'm saying?
And with the right person, because I didn't think about having kids, but I've been having baby fever lately. And if I get to the level I feel like I'm going to get to this year, I might have to have one because I can get a nanny and, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I still got to travel. I got to go, you know what I'm saying, do my thing, wear a Speedo somewhere in the Caribbean or something. I'm going to wear a Speedo in the Caribbean. But what's next for you, though?
I mean, for me right now, it's just continue to work. Like we're going to do some Canada cities, so basically like a Canada tour. We're going to do a UK tour in the summer. We're going to hit Nigeria and Ghana in October.
Nice.
So it's kind of like I'm looking this year as it's the year of expansion. You know what I'm saying? So add some more books, go overseas, do places that we never did before. Because to me, I know what I keep hearing God tell me is I need to expand as far as reaching more people. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had someone say, man, if I would have read this 5 years ago, if I would have heard this advice 10 years, you could have saved me from boom, 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 boom. So I just keep thinking like, damn, how many more people need to hear this right now? So then I end up being that person who says, I wish I heard this 10 years ago.
Right.
You know? So it's just figuring out how to open it up to more people.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think what you're doing now, I mean, coming up, like, again, we've just, we've been, what are we on, episode 27?
Nah, what on this? 19? We
19,
broke
yeah. Well, shit, we're getting up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, for you to even come here, and again, I think God always has a purpose because it's like, again, when she first said you, I was like, oh, do you know who he is? I'm like, bro, of course. Bro, help, bro. And that's what was so weird because I said it, like, bro literally helped me figure out, like, yo, I'm great at fucking coaching. Let me get certified. Let me help people. I mean, and then I started helping people at my church. I did a couple of sermons. But again, a lot of your words and how you were talking was like, yo, that resonates. And many motherfuckers can't resonate with me in my spirit. And I was like, yo, he does. And then even to the point where I'm sober, like, what is it now? Like almost 20 months. And it just helped me even more to go through that experience to be able to help people. So it's just a passion of mine. So to see you want to get, more out there, I think that coming on things like this, doing whatever you need to do to get your word out, because it's powerful, man. I promise you, bro. No cap. You probably saved me a lot more heartache than I could have just based off your teachings and just like your life experience, because experience is the best teacher.
Absolutely.
So again, we're honored and thankful that you did decide to come through and just chill with us today. I mean, I know a lot of times you may go places as interviews. I just wanted you to feel at home. I know that anytime you come back to LA, Whiskey, Words, and Wisdom is your home.
Absolutely.
We got you. If you want to, be a special guest, we got to get Nicole. We're going to get you on here. we're going to get you on here, Nicole. She's scared of you. She was running because you probably would have told her something about herself. And I mean, I get it. That would have been interesting. I would love to see a collab with those two.
You know what's funny? I've literally had people tell me they unfollow me because they couldn't handle it anymore.
She went to your page and said, this might be too heavy for me today. I said, oh, okay. Yeah. But I mean, again, she's amazing. She's been on here as well. Shout out to Nicole. She's RuPaul, Drag Race, Jeffree Star, Todrick, all of them, makeup artists, amazing. Go to the Pout Bar if you need your makeup done. She owns that too. So before we leave, because Don's got the best of the best of the best of the best coming up, I'm interested. What are your top 5 all-time R&B albums?
Top 5 all-time R&B albums? Dang.
That's tough.
Put my feet up on this one.
Okay, so I'm just going to go off what comes to mind.
Okay.
Donnell Jones. I think Where I Want to Be.
Okay.
I think that deserves to be top 5. Not just because, it's not just the quality of the song. It's the fact that he wrote, he did the whole thing himself. Yeah. That, to me, it was a masterful album from that perspective. I hate to say it. I don't know which album I'll throw in there. And please, listeners, don't crucify me. I just feel like R. Kelly has to be somewhere,
of course,
in the top 5 R&B albums. I'm not sure which one I pick. Maybe 12 Play. But
Robert and R. Kelly are 2 different people, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Let's separate those 2 individuals.
Yeah.
He deserves a spot in the top 5. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm just saying who comes to mind. So maybe I'm wrong with some of these, but who's comes to mind?
It's your top 5.
Yeah.
Jodeci.
Oh.
I think it's the Diary of the Mad Band. I think it is the first one. Yeah. and I will say this. I don't know if I would say the whole album is like a classic or anything like that. But man, when Jodeci dropped, bro, they just ushered in. It was like R. Kelly got the ball rolling with this new style of R&B. And then Jodeci was like the first black group that took it there. You know what I'm saying?
That might be the only group that can compete with Boyz II Men.
Yeah, And it's a different kind of vibe, though.
Yeah.
Because the Boyz II Men was it was almost like Jodeci was the bad boys and Boyz II Men were the good guys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it was 2 different ends of the spectrum, but definitely high quality. So interestingly enough, again, I'm just saying who comes to mind. I don't know if he deserves a top 5 spot, but I'm going to still name him. Jamie Foxx.
Oh, okay. I'm not mad though.
All right.
Shout out to Big Bro.
Shout out to Bro. Yeah, that's
I think his album was very underrated. He had a lot of great songs on that first. I think it was his first album he did.
Second.
Okay, second.
Second.
He had a lot of great songs on there, man. So I really like Jamie Foxx's style. I like Jamie Foxx's music. And again, being that he is someone that does comedy, acting, everything, I think that even elevates the quality of that album. So that's 4 I think I gave you. A 5th top R&B album. If you notice, I'm not really mentioning a lot of new stuff. I come from a different area of R&B. I'm having a hard time thinking of a 5th, though.
There's one that you haven't even mentioned. It's the Holy Grail.
I already know what you're going to say.
Which one? Say it.
Usher Confessions.
So, here's my confession. I haven't heard the whole album.
What?
Wow.
I never heard
that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy, right?
That's literally the Holy Grail.
I only heard the songs that were on the radio.
Wow.
All you have to do is push play.
That's it.
There's no skips.
I think by that point, I was getting more detached from music, and I wasn't listening to full albums. So I'll go with that. I think Usher's a great artist.
It literally play.
Yeah, I haven't heard enough songs on it to have. That's why it didn't come to mind.
That's insane. Don, what are yours?
Ooh, that's tough. We definitely gonna go with Usher's Confessions. I'm gonna throw 100% Genuine on there.
Shout out, Big Bro.
Yes, sir.
Genuine is a strong album.
By the way, we were all in that camp. So the artist I was managing worked under Tank. That's how I met him. He produced. Okay. He was one of the producers in Tank's camp. His cousin's my mentor. His cousin's also Jamie Foxx's right hand man. So he's been.
Oh wow.
The camp's small, but like I said, it's small out here, bro.
Damn, 3 what? Yeah, it gets mixy after that.
You want me to go first? You want me to go and you figure out your other thing?
Yeah.
All right, so we got Usher's Confession.
All right.
Room 112.
That's a solid.
That's my favorite 112.
That's a solid album.
I would have to say, Eric Bellinger.
So I've never heard any of
Rebirth.
his albums.
Which one?
Rebirth. That's I'm not saying that order, but he's up there.
Yeah.
Usher's number 1, and then it goes Cisco's album.
Really?
That shit's
Again, I never heard that one fully, but I'm still a little surprised.
Unleash the Dragon was
crazy.
phenomenal.
Wow.
I can't even
It
lie.
was crazy. And then I would have to say, Miseducation.
So wait a minute now. Are we counting that as an R&B
R&B
album?
album.
That's
Is it?
R&B, hip hop, rap. Like
R&B,
that's.
bro.
I don't know if that's fair.
Or then if we're not gonna do that, we're gonna do D'Angelo's.
Okay. Which one?
I can't think right now. Name them.
Is it Brown Sugar or Voodoo?
Voodoo.
Voodoo, yeah.
Listen to Voodoo.
I don't know, man. I got my 2 locked. Anything after that, I don't.
There's a song
It
I
would
can
have.
pick from.
It used to be until I realized that the way he moves is a little sus. Actually, so if I'm taking the person away from the artist, I have to move Ready into that top 5.
Who?
Trey Songz, Ready.
Oh, Trey Songz.
R&B?
From detaching the artist and the music. You didn't like Ready? That when that boom, 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 boom,
Ready was cool.
it was solid.
But there's so many good. Like, I don't know if I want to put Dream in there, but that's
But even then, you got to
Love
think
versus
about
Hate.
Joe.
So it was good.
bro. It's a lot of. I had to really think about that. You put me on the spot.
Maybe that's the
like
next one we got to do.
Maybe
We may have to have you on video.
it's endless categories. So
Well, listen.
There's a lot to choose from.
yeah.
Listen, man, we appreciate you. We're going to let you get out here. We know you got a flight tomorrow. We thank you.
Absolutely.
It's been such a honor and blessing meeting you, and hopefully, like, we stay connected. I'm definitely going to stay connected. I'm probably going to come to the A soon. My cousin's an actor out there. Yeah, and then when you go to Canada, obviously let me know. I have multiple people out there. Homegirl Candy, she's an artist out there.
Any specific cities in Canada?
Toronto.
Toronto, okay.
So the guy who runs hip hop, debating hip hop is big page on Twitter. My boy Craig. Oh, Craig, you know what?
Yeah,
Craig.
correct.
He's in Alberta, but he's out there too.
Okay.
We got people in Toronto. So if you're in Toronto for sure, let me know. But man, it's a blessing. I'm excited to see where your journey goes.
Thank you, man.
It is especially, and this is me just being candid, man. It's so super dope to see a black man succeed at the levels you are and continuing to grow and continue to help people in the right direction of healing. This is a healing podcast, if you didn't know. So again, this is like, it's dope to have somebody who's inspired me to start my journey right in front of me. And man, I appreciate you, and brother, good luck with everything you do, and we're tapped in.
Yes, sir.
All right, so once again, thank you, Making It Media, for always allowing us this space. We love you. Make sure you go check out Stephan's books. Can you name up the 3 right now for me?
They can check out, well, there's more than 3, but they can check out
there's?
Love After. Yeah, I got 10 total.
10 total. Why do I only know about these lines? Well, those are the last. Damn.
Yeah, so I'll just say go to AskStephanSpeaks.com. From there, they'll be able to, get to my socials. They'll be able to see the books I have. So AskStephanSpeaks.com. I
will go buy all of them because I have 2. Well, actually, no, he's lying, sis. I don't need that.
Yeah, nah.
But I'm gonna buy it and gift it to somebody. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do, and make sure they tag you in it. So he has 10 books. Where else can they find you at? Just
on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram at Stephan Speaks.
You have your own YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they can check me out on all social media. Stephan Speaks.
Make sure you go support, man, and just if anything, just understand he's spitting real and it's genuine. It ain't no corny shit. It's straight from the heart. Check him out. Yeah, and then Don.
Yeah, y'all know to find me at God City. New episode, Best of the Best, coming sometime this week. And
where can they check out the clothes?
At therealt.co. Working on some new stuff soon. I kind of put everything on ice for now, but
we got some new music coming from Don himself this year, y'all.
Yeah, so
that's gonna be crazy. And we will see y'all next week. Thank you again. Oh, by the way, next week we have a very special guest, my bestie. I'll give you a little hint. She got a show coming out on February 8th. Y'all check it out. All right. We out.
Peace.